What if I told you that the difference between the person who gives up and the person who wins ISNT talent, luck, or connections, it's persistence. This is the story of a young athlete, but it's also the story of anyone who has ever dreamed of more, faced failure, and had to decide whether to quit or keep going. And along the way, you'll see how science explains why persistence, resilience, and discipline are the true keys to success. He was just a kid when he first picked up a ball. First, it wasn't about greatness. It was about joy, the feeling of running, moving, pushing his body, and imagining what could be. He watched the heroes on TV, the athletes who seemed untouchable, and thought, one day, that could be me. But here's the truth about chasing dreams. The moment you start, the world tests you. The first setback came quickly. He tried out for the school team. He wasn't chosen. He's too small, too slow, not strong enough. His heart sank. For most kids, that might have been the end of the story, but something inside him whispered, keep going. Psychologists call this moment the friction point, when effort feels greater than reward. Most people quit here because the brain is wired for efficiency. Neuroscientists describe the energy preservation bias. Your mind is designed to conserve effort and avoid discomfort. That's why failure feels so heavy. It's your brain trying to convince you to stop. But if you push through that resistance, something incredible happens. Each act of persistence literally rewires your brain. This is neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to adapt and strengthen through repeated effort. The more he trained, the more his mind adapted to see struggle not as danger, but as growth. Every morning before school, he ran. Not fast, not graceful, but consistent. He set a small goal, run 1 block further than yesterday. Some days he felt unstoppable. Most days he wanted to stay in bed. But he remembered what science proves. Action creates motivation. What I mean, the brain's reward chemical doesn't just spike when we achieve big victories. It rises with progress, with small wins. Every time he laced up his shoes and ran 1 more step, his brain rewarded him. Slowly, struggle began to feel like fuel. Still, failure kept showing up. He lost races, he got injured, he faced teammates stronger than him. The temptation to quit was always there. But instead of seeing failure as the end, he began to see it as feedback. This is what psychologist Carol Dweck calls the growth mindset. Instead of "I failed, therefore I'm not good enough," he learned to say, "I failed, therefore I'm learning." At first, he told himself, "I want to be an athlete." But over time, his language changed. "I am an athlete." This shift mattered. Research shows that your identity shapes your behavior. If you see yourself as someone who wants to succeed, your actions will be inconsistent. But if you believe you are the kind of person who shows up, who trains, who pushes, you'll act accordingly. So he didn't just train when it was convenient, train because that's who he was. Years passed, countless hours of unseen work. Sweat, pain, doubt, and then it happened. The race he had been waiting for. The one where everything would be tested. The starting line was crowded. His heart raced, adrenaline pumping. But he remembered something important. Fear and excitement feel the same in the body. The difference is the story you attach to them. He decided to call it excitement. The gun fired. He ran. Every step carried the weight of years of struggle. His muscles burned, his lungs screamed, his body begged to stop. But he had trained for this. He knew discomfort wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a sign of growth. And at the finish line, he crossed not first, not perfect, but victorious. Because this time, the victory wasn't just the medal. It was proof that he could endure. Proof that persistence beats talent. So what can we learn from this story? Action creates motivation. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start now and let progress build momentum. Failure is feedback. Every loss is a lesson. Every setback is data. Identity drives behavior. Become the kind of person who doesn't quit, and quitting stops being an option. Small wins compound. 1% better every day leads to massive transformation. Discomfort is growth. If it feels hard, it means you're leveling up. One day, you'll face your own starting line. Maybe it won't be a race. It might be a business, a dream, a career, a relationship. And when you do, resistance will show up. Fear will whisper. Excuses will tempt you. But remember this story. Remember the science. Remember that persistence isn't magic, it's a choice. The young athlete wasn't born extraordinary. He became extraordinary because he refused to quit, and so can you. So here's the question. What's your dream? What's the goal you've been putting off because it feels too hard, too far, too big? Now ask yourself, 1 year from today, do you want to look back and say, I quit before I even tried? Or do you want to look back and say, I didn't give up, I became stronger, I kept going? Your story is unwritten. Your future self is waiting, and they are begging you not to quit. Take the first step today. One small step. Then another. And another. Because persistence beats talent. Discipline beats excuses. And the life you dream of is waiting on the other side of resistance. Don't let your future self down.